The following review is intended for entertainment purposes and targeted for adult fans of the series.
A gold sweatshirt with some kind of abstract logo on it. No, it's a hoodie, isn't it? I said a gold sweatshirt, but if he's wearing it over a long sleeve, it's probably a hoodie? Oh well. Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to another Power Rangers Dino Fury episode review. The Gold Ranger made a... okay, seriously, forgive me for this one. Splashy entrance last time, but now it's time for a little bit of backstory. You know, maybe starting with a name? Let's find out what that is by taking a look at the 16th episode of Dino Fury, Ancient History.
Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel.
Yeah, and make sure you got your notifications set up by hitting that little bell icon.
Right you. What he said was, you can consider checking us out on Patreon or Ko-fi at Orange Ranger Videos.
And yes, as I'm sure you saw from my gag last time, this episode does reuse a title from another season of Power Rangers, RPM. And as I saw somebody point out, the two episodes are actually surprisingly similar. I'm a little split on the idea of reusing episode titles from past seasons. On the one hand, if a title fits, it fits. There are only so many titles you can come up with without getting stupid in the name of creativity. If one works, then go with it. But on the other hand, it does feel a little bit uncreative. If they've already used the title in another season, maybe modify it for your episode. In this case, maybe something like Ancient Prehistory.
Get on with it!
Your appearances are fewer and farther between lately, MPG. Oh well, no skin off my nose. The Gold Ranger teleports in at Dinohenge, warmly greeting the Mosasaurus statue and asking if he's missed anything. Meanwhile, inside the base, Zayto is training the other Rangers in fighting, though Ollie is actually making a PB&J with basically melted peanut butter. Solon alerts them that Gold is paying a visit, but then he just teleports directly inside and demorphs. And he's Rafkonian, a member of Zayto's species, antenna and all. Though oddly, he's wearing contemporary clothing, a gold sweatshirt with some kind of abstract logo on it, over a white long sleeve and black jeans. Zayto greets him kind of coldly, and while the plot is going to explain this, it actually makes sense otherwise. Think about it. The last time Zayto saw a supposed Knight of Rafkon, it was actually Slither in disguise. Him being suspicious makes all the sense in the world. He introduces himself, and his name is Aiyon, spelled A-I-Y-O-N, but pronounced I-O-N. After warmly greeting Solon, establishing that he was around 65 million years ago, he steals Ollie's sandwich.
I drink your milkshake.
Close enough. Zayto asks for an explanation, and okay, this one gets a little bit weird, heroes. So at the final battle against the Sporix 65 million years ago, the Rangers' Ultrazord launched an attack so powerful that it scarred the planet and severely damaged the Ultrazord. The Rangers all evacuated, with escape pods forming around them and launching out a la Star Trek. Golds landed in the bay, and he says he must have slept there for years until the green Morphin Master appeared to him, saying that he needed to wake up and join the fight, or Lord Zed may reign once again.
What are you talking about?
Zordon in his shiny glass tube, do I wish I could use? I have several questions right now. It would be absolutely perfect. We saw at the beginning of the show that there is a gold Morphin Master. I went back and checked. Why is it that the green Morphin Master alone is appearing to the Gold Ranger? I suppose Aiyon's pod was cryogenic. We also saw Zayto in a similar pod, so I'm guessing that what was going on there. but the episode seems to imply that it was the pod landing in the water that preserved Aiyon. And wait a second, how come Megazord escape pods automatically activate cryostasis? Oh, and Void Knight is a threat that 5 Rangers can handle, but Lord Zed, the Emperor of Evil, means we need one more?
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
Izzy is confused because Lord Zed has been gone for ages. It's only been 2 episodes, Greenie. I, in my headcanons, usually equate episodes directly to weeks, like they do in real life. But for the show to have any sort of a consistent timescale, which I realize isn't exactly a requirement, it can only have been like a month or so. Anyway, this is where things start to get a little bit tense. Izzy is excited to have a brand new Ranger on the team. Aiyon says he's more than happy to join up. But there's a catch. He has to be named the team's leader.
Run that by me again.
The Rangers are incredulous, and Aiyon realizes that Zayto hasn't told them something. We get another flashback to Zayto and Aiyon training together as knights and good friends. But then the 6 Knights of Rafkon are gathered together for an important announcement by Important Lady McNo-Name. The forces of evil are about to attack Rafkon. Ah, this is the day the Sporix attacked.
Oh, good guess. Wrong, though.
These forces of evil are not named, but the lady says if they do attack Rafkon, they are going to create an army of Sporix beasts to defend the planet. Yeah, that's right, heroes. The Rafkonians created the Sporix. They weren't some evil alien force from the stars. They were a military bioweapon that the Rafkonians lost control of. Making matters worse, Aiyon knew it was going to happen. They don't make it clear exactly how he knew. He just says that he knew that not enough testing had been done. He begs Zayto to speak up as the head of the Rafkon Knights and prevent their release. But Zayto just says that the military council has given the plan their blessing, and that's good enough for him. Aiyon literally rebels over this, attacking the machine launching the Sporix, but he's stopped and defeated by Zayto. Of course, the Dino Doo-Doo hits the fan, the Sporix are launched and immediately rebel on their creators, and the planet is practically destroyed. Oh, and the 2 of them were no longer friends. Seriously, Aiyon states these 2 things, the planet was practically destroyed and they were no longer friends, with equal gravitas, like the loss of a friendship is equal to the loss of a planet.
One of these things is not like the others. One of these things doesn't belong.
Amelia cannot believe that Zayto had a chance to prevent the Sporix from existing and didn't tell them about it. A little bit of a false equivalency there, Amelia. Why did he need to? Yes, it's good for a leader to be open and honest, but the history of your enemy doesn't really have a lot of bearing on the battle right now. Speaking of the battle right now, a Sporix beast shows up at the dock. Zayto says that he knows he owes his team some answers, but right now they have work to do. The 5 Rangers teleport out, and Aiyon immediately follows. The following fight doesn't really make any sense, or at the very least it doesn't flow very well. Turns out it's just Mucus at the docks, Zayto even directly saying that she is not a threat. She's got some kind of gun that fires little spears. Zayto deflects all the spears away, but one of them hits a barrel of fish oil, which begins to spill all over the ground. And then suddenly, Zayto can't run anymore, because the ground is too slippery.
No, 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 no!
Oh, but it gets better. Zayto stumbles and lands on some boxes. Mucus fires and pins his suit to the boxes.
No, 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 no.
So, If the Power Rangers were just vigilante cosplayers wearing spandex, that would make sense. But seeing as they're superheroes, I don't buy it for a second. It's possible under certain story plot circumstances that the suit could be pinned to something, except that there doesn't seem to be anything special about the spears. It's just a little dart gun. What really gets me more is the whole fish oil thing, though. Who knew that you could just spray some baby oil on the ground and trip up the Power Rangers? I feel like their shoes would be the definition of all-terrain.
Moving right along.
Now let's talk a little bit about tonal differences. I feel like the following fight scene is classic cheesy Power Rangers. Aiyon tells the other Rangers to follow his lead. He shoots down a large wooden box hanging overhead, and conveniently enough, when it lands, a big flat panel pops off of it. He hops on the panel and starts sliding on the oil, riding through the box and somehow chopping it in half. I know he has a sword, but we don't see any kind of chopping motion. And then begins surfing on the oil, taking out the henchmen that Mucus summoned while she was reloading. Izzy and Javi think that this seems fun. Ollie and Amelia went to go help Zayto, but fell into some boxes themselves. So they hop onto the two halves of the box and start sliding around as well. They eventually get the upper hand on Mucus, but then Slither and some henchmen walk out with a boat, saying they got what they came for. Mucus gives the actual plot away so the episode can proceed, saying they know where the Gold Ranger Zord is and they're going to go destroy it. At the base, Aiyon tells Zayto that last fight proves his point. Zayto is not fit to lead the Rangers and he should be the one in charge. The other Rangers just look around nervously, so all Zayto can really do is apologize and walk away. Aiyon wonders how the villains found his Zord, and when Ollie thinks logically the Zord must be underwater, which is not a logical point until you tell the audience that it's a Mosasaurus, he suddenly remembers his mom's submarine drone, which must have detected the Zord. Conveniently enough, a copy of the drone's data is on his laptop at BuzzBlast, so they go to look at that. Meanwhile, Zayto talks to Solon while getting a change of clothes, since his clothes were damaged by the spears and everything. He apologizes to her for not telling her the story about the Sporix, but she's more understanding than the Rangers were. Mistakes are hard to own up to, and besides, Zayto was really basically just following orders. He says he should have trusted Aiyon. I'm not really sure why, and seeing as we just met him, and all we really know about him at this point is that he's cocky as crud, I'm not really sure why we should trust him either. Solon says sometimes good leaders know when it's best to step aside. When he asks if that means that's what he should do now, Solon says that only he can make that call.
Listen to your heart.
At Area 62, it's time for a new robot. The robot's name is Wreckmate. It's naval themed, and all of the villains have kind of a minor chessboard theme going, so that's kind of cute. And it talks with a pirate voice. Void Knight tells it to go destroy the Mosasaurus and has Mucus tell the robot where it is. When Void Knight leaves, Mucus assumes this second-in-command mentality, telling Wreckmate that she's in charge of the mission. Slither is standing right there and has no objections to this for entirely self-evident reasons. At BuzzBlast, the Rangers say that trying to find a Zord in the ocean is like trying to find a needle in a haystack, and then immediately find the Mosasaurus sitting in the middle of the bay, not even hidden. Anyway, Solon calls and reports trouble near the beach. Villain comedic relief really isn't all that much better than Jane and Jayborg comic relief, and we get this scene of Mucus and Wreckmate getting ready for a trip to the beach, and Mucus tossing ice cream to Wreckmate, but then the Rangers show up, but Mucus doesn't realize it and keeps throwing the ice cream, and Wreckmate literally blows her up. Zayto teleports in and immediately says he just wants to help. He knows when to step aside, which Aiyon accepts. The team morphs together and we get Aiyon's first morph, but sadly it's a 6-way morph, so we get him in this little tiny part of the screen basically right here. Oh, and he morphs with the gun, putting the key into the back of the gun and then basically snapping the thing's neck, just like Rexy with Tyler's Battleizer from Dino Charge. Quick fight against the Aqua Henchman. Henchmen wearing inner tubes and swim flippers. Yay. Zayto uses the blazing key and Aiyon the electro key. They knock Wreckmate back and are equally impressed with each other. The other Rangers take care of the henchmen off screen, but Wreckmate uses the Sporix inside that, oh yeah, Void Knight put a Sporix inside of it when it was created, to grow. Aiyon calls for the Zords, and the Rangers go immediately to warrior formation. However, Wreckmate quickly turns the tide, water puns, and knocks the Rangers underwater. The Zords can't function underwater, seems like a weird weakness, and Aiyon is flummoxed. He asks Zayto what to do, and his response is...
Proceed to the escape pods and abandon ship. Repeat. Abandon ship.
The Rangers teleport out. What? No cryogenic escape pods this time? And the Megazord lies defeated on the seafloor. Aiyon realizes this is what leadership is. Making tough decisions while even your friends are judging you for it. He and Zayto make up, and it's not directly stated, but Aiyon basically returns leadership of the team to Zayto. The Rangers think their Zords are toast, but then Aiyon's key starts glowing inside his belt. The Gold Ranger Zord is active. It swims over and saves the Megazord, and then Aiyon and Zayto teleport to it to save the day. The Mosa Zord chomps on the giant key and then forms into a Unizord, Mosa Razor Zord battle mode, with the head of the Megazord formed by the key, with the giant jaws of the Mosa around the head like a big collar, which I thought was really neat. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this before, but I'm a sucker for underwater Zord fights. There's nothing really fancy about them, it's just a dark, rocky set with bubble effects everywhere, but it's just a nice change of pace, and it's just a good change-up that we don't get all that often. New Zord debut, so Wreckmate wasn't ever going to last very long. Aiyon gets the Mega Fury Saber, and a Harpoon Strike unbattens Wreckmate's hatches. Back at the base, the moral stays true, but its application is flipped around. Now it's Aiyon that has learned that sometimes a true leader knows when to step aside, and that's what he's doing now. Zayto is the leader of the Dino Fury Rangers, and all is right with the world because the Red Ranger is still the leader. But that doesn't mean that those two can't flex their muscles against each other and spar immediately. They toss on right at the end. Oh, hey, what spiked Aiyon's Ranger energy enough for his Zord to activate? Oh wait, it was literally the power of friendship. Let's balance the scales. Episode 16, Ancient History. Pros, a Power Rangers episode with a Power Rangers plot, a surprisingly mature and challenging storyline, and an entertaining new Zord debut. Cons, Aiyon needs some character redemption, episode gets goofy at the wrong times, and Aiyon's weird battlefield voice. Zordon in his shiny glass tube, do I love this show when it actually focuses on being Power Rangers. Ancient History gets 4 scales out of 5. I know that Power Rangers is supposed to teach lessons to children. I get that a 30-minute fight scene is boring. That's basically what shows like Megaforce did. But there are episodes of Super Megaforce even that I do like, and it's when they focus on being the Power Rangers. No Jane and Jay Borg. Barely a cameo of Buzz Blast at all. Not even anyone acting out of character for the sake of the moral of the day. This was an episode that pushed Dino Fury's plot forward, and the moral of the day even applies just as much to being a good hero as it does a good person. The Gold Ranger has been a breath of fresh air for Dino Fury, and where is the air fresher than at the beach? Let's take a peek at the 17th episode of Dino Fury. Our hero. Aiyon is given free ice cream as thanks for a heroic act, and the perks go to his head. When his Zord is captured, Aiyon learns what it means to be a real hero. That is going to wrap up another Power Rangers Dino Fury episode review. Thank you, heroes, so much as always for watching. Now that the video's done, you can let me know what you thought of this episode, as well as my review of it, down in the comments below. While you're down there, make sure you smack that thumbs up button to let me know that you enjoyed this video. And if you'd like to support my channel in ways besides Patreon or Ko-fi, you can always check out my Teespring store and get yourself some sweet Orange Ranger merch. Until next time, heroes, may the power protect you. Spelled A-I-Y-O-N, but parts. Anyway, this is where things start to get a little bit tense. Now let's talk about tonal differences. I don't know why though. He shoots down a large box hanging down overhead. Hanging down? Alright. And he suddenly remembers his mom's submarine drone. They transform it into a Megazord, the Mosazord. The Rangers think their Zords are toast. The Zord is the Zord. This was a stupid thing.